Boston Celtics, a team that made it to the conference finals last season. You look at them and think, a great starting five, just probably get a good center, get some height in there, and you'll be okay, and you'll be well on your way to a championship in a few years. But they didn't do any of that, and they've kind of gone down rather than up. Obviously, I'm joined with Owen.
Yep. Hello.
Nice to meet you, mate. Thanks for coming. And Boston, what have they done? This is
Not
when you
much.
speak. This is your bit. Thanks.
Well, yeah. What have they done? Well, they've lost Gordon Hayward, of course, and they brought in a 6'9" center in Tristan Thompson. Jeff Teague, who's a washed-up point guard, not very good anymore, and they had a very bad draft. So, yeah, they haven't improved.
Yeah, but after the conference finals, you think the team is very, very solid. You got Kemba, who'll be good for like probably another season, maybe two, probably one. But so you're looking like maybe we need a young point guard maybe to bring in to try and get the Boston feel. I won't do that again. Get the Boston feel and yeah, shooting guards. You've got Marcus Smart, who's one of the best defensive guards in the league and showed a good array of offensive qualities in the playoffs that we've not really seen to that consistent level. And Jaylen Brown, who I'm a massive fan of, one of the best young prospects in the league. Jason Tatum, who kind of power forward, small forward. I mean, probably again one of the best younger players in the league. Gordon Hayward, who was will he stay, will he go? Probably best just to let him go. And then Tice at center, where you're like, that's one spot you need. So going into the draft and free agency, you're thinking, let's try and get a center or just somebody of height that will do the job. They picked Nesmith, a 6'4" shooting guard.
Yeah. Well, you could look at the team and say, yeah, they need shooting. Like they don't have many great shooters, but I think you said it perfectly. They need a point guard. They need a second option to Kemba, someone who they can slowly build up to bring into his place when he gets too old. Cole Anthony was there. He was available at 14. Tyrese Maxey, he would have been perfect for Boston. But they took Nesmith, who he did shoot 52% from three, but only in like 10 games. Like, it's such a small sample size. So is he actually that good of a shooter? Who knows?
Yeah, you saying Cole Anthony. I feel like Cole Anthony would have been a good fit for Boston. That same kind of mold where he doesn't do defense, but he does offense to a level, a level we don't know which in the NBA, but in college it was all right, inconsistent but all right, and that's kind of sums up Kemba.
Yeah.
He's basically Kemba Walker. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that fit. I also kind of wanted them to go for a Chiwa, a big guy who would have really added to their team. But instead, like I said, they went Nesmith, not somebody they probably needed at all. But then again, losing Hayward, you probably need some more offense off the bench because they've got defense off the bench with the Williams boys, but that's at the bigger spots. So if you go with
they could do with some perimeter defense though.
Yeah, if you go with the starting five of Kemba, Smart, Jaylen Brown, Tatum, Tice, you've got enough defense in that from Brown and Smart, and in the playoffs they're going to play a lot of minutes. So it's like there's enough defense there that would get them through, and then with Grant Williams and Robert Williams, there's enough defense there higher up to get them through. So that didn't bother me too much, but yeah, losing Hayward, they probably needed another point getter. But like I said, like with points, you got Kemba, Smart, Jaylen Brown, and Tatum, who will all play 30+ minutes in the playoffs and regular season. Like they will get you enough. Those four will get you enough points to win a game. They didn't really need Nesmith. They needed a point guard. They needed a center or a power forward, and they kind of just got it wrong. And then, who was that guy they drafted in the first round?
Peyton Pritchard.
Never heard of him.
He's a point guard who is a score-first point guard, but I think he's already like 23, 24. Like, he's already really old.
You may as well have got Cole Anthony.
Yeah, take Cole Anthony there, and then with that last pick, just take the best center available.
What pick
Or
was
it was Tyler Bay was available. He was like pick 28, so they could have got Tyler Bay. He would have fixed the small forward, power forward issue.
What, they took that guy at 28?
At 28, yeah.
Just take a Toro at that point.
Maybe, yeah.
Toro was an early second rounder. Just when you got a late first round pick, just grab a Toro. That's a center. You're losing Cantor. That's a backup center for you.
And there was better point guards available. Like Malachi Flynn would have been an incredible pick, but I just don't get why they chose Pritchard. Like, when I watched them, I saw nothing more than like a mid-tier second round pick, and they took him. It was, I mean, as a Sixers fan, I loved their draft, but like, it wasn't very good. Like, I think they completely missed the mark.
Yeah, I'm feeling there's a lack of sympathy from your end here. I feel like you're kind of saying it's going bad, but you're smiling. You're happy about this. But yeah, Pritchard, I did a lot of like draft research from like the first round and early second rounders. I'd never heard of this guy. So then, like, when I saw that he'd gone first round, I was like, who? I don't know who this guy is. He might be good, but Owen's usually right. And if Owen says he's not going to be good, then
I mean, he might be good, but I just feel like there was better players available.
Yeah. And, well, talking about a rookie, well, not rookie anymore because he's in his second year, like Romeo Langford, another guard, like a shooting guard, a defensive shooting guard. You took Neesmith, then you take this offensive point guard. They kind of, like, I don't know what Langford's ceiling is. I don't think it's too high.
They took him with the 14th pick, I think.
Yeah.
Like, the thing with Boston, they're bad at drafting. Like, I feel like this is going under the radar because they took Tatum at number 3 and Jaylen Brown at number 3. But apart from that, their drafting has been awful. Grant Williams, he didn't live up to expectations. Semi Ojeleye was meant to be the original Grant Williams, but he's completely fallen off. Langford was a big bust. Neesmith and Pritchard don't look like great, but maybe they could prove us wrong. I think Carson Edwards, like a 5'2" point guard, basically. Like, their drafting just isn't great.
I wouldn't say Langford's a bust because like the
Cleveland had 1 year.
Like the Cleveland Cavaliers fans will let you know is you can't write off a player after 1 year. So yeah, he obviously struggled with injuries, and he came into the league on the back of didn't he have like a thumb injury at the end of his
injury,
which kind of ruined his like shooting. So he's been unlucky with injuries. Yeah, he's had kind of the Philly rookie treatment where you get signed.
He hasn't been healthy for about 3 years. It's been a while.
You probably should look at that and say probably shouldn't take him then, but they took him. So I don't know why they picked the players they did. Like we listed so many players that they could have picked and it would have made their team a little bit better.
Tyrese Maxey would have been perfect. He can play point guard, give some scoring, he can shoot, and an incredible defender. He'd been perfect.
Should have traded up for Okongwu.
Yeah, well, speaking of trading up, they were offering Kemba to all the teams. They were trying to move up by giving away their third best player.
It's very weird.
That can't be good for team chemistry, knowing that this team gave you $150 million last year, and now they're trying to move you on for a rookie. Like, that can't be good.
Yeah, you'd think they would try and use like some like large trade with Hayward because like they were looking to get rid of Hayward anyway. You'd think quick sign and trade, get a good pick, but no, just try and ship Kemba off quickly, making it not work. And the cat's returned. No, she's gone. Yeah, it's just it's very weird. I don't know what they're trying to do, but they shouldn't have done it. I know that for sure. They shouldn't have done it, but it also doesn't affect them too badly. Where you'd say, well, they're not going to make the conference final now because they've still got that core, but they just needed to improve that core. Because we saw in the playoffs as they took on teams that were a bit more gritty and had a bit more about them in the playoffs, it got more and more difficult. Philly let them play. They destroyed Philly. Toronto,
anyone could have beaten us.
Yeah, Toronto were kind of off in the playoffs against them, but they still took them all the way.
Awful.
Siakam was awful, but they still took them all the way. And then Miami destroyed them.
But with this team, like, they've lost Hayward and Wanamaker, and they've added Jeff Teague and Tristan Thompson. Like, is that an improvement? Like, if anything, I feel like that's a little bit of a step back. Like, they needed a center, but they needed a rim protecting center to offer them some size, like at least a 7-footer. Tristan Thompson is a 6'9" center who doesn't protect the rim, so it seems more of the same. Like, in the Hayward deal, reportedly they could have got Miles Turner. He would have been perfect, the perfect center for him. But they turned it down for some reason, and they went and signed Tristan Thompson. I just don't get the thinking behind that.
It's like they want to kind of play this smaller ball system. Like, you saw it sometimes in the playoffs when, like, you'd have Grant or Robert playing center, and obviously they're smaller guys. And like, I like those guys. They're good, like, playoff players to have. Like, reminds me of like Golden State when they playoff run. They'd have Kayvon Looney. Like, not as good, nowhere near as good, but just those gritty players that they're not full of quality, but they'll just get in the way, and they're just like Grant Williams is a good defender.
When you're in the same conference as a Giannis or a Ben Simmons or an Embiid or a Kevin Durant or a Siakam, you need size to counteract that.
Yeah.
And they don't have any size at all.
They're building a team that would probably do all right in the West. They play in the East.
Yeah.
And that's the issue. So relocate. Disband the organization and relocate.
But no, even like the Hayward deal, like, they almost messed that up completely. Like I said, they could have got Miles Turner and Doug McDermott, but they wanted Oladipo or TJ Warren. Like, you don't need more scoring. You need a center who can block shots. So they turned that deal off the table. So when he went to Charlotte, they almost lost him for nothing. They saved it last night by, I think they gave up 2 second-round picks to get one in return and trade exception. So at least they got something. But, they need to use that exception within the next year. And Danny Ainge is so stingy with trades. Like, so is he even going to utilize it? Like, who knows? Like, it wouldn't surprise me if he just lets it expire. Because he's known as, like, one of the best GMs in the league. But so many times he completely messes up. So,
yeah. By the way, that disband the organization bit was a joke. Just so the comments.
I wouldn't mind it.
Yeah. So the comments don't attack me again, because you're wrong. So that's all I gotta say. Have you got anything else to say, Owen?
Nope.
Wow, what another wonderful video finished. What a great job. And if you love listening to us talking about basketball, because we know a lot, well, Owen knows a lot. I'm kind of just here. Yeah, well, stay around, subscribe, and watch the videos. We tend to annoy Cavaliers fans, so if you hate them too, jump in the boat. Buenas noches.